Alrighty, so let's figure out how we can do putting together an alcohol and other drug worksheet. So the Safety Charter has pulled together a really easy step-by-step guide. You all have a copy of this on your table, and I recommend you take it back to work with you, and it's also available on the website. We're going to run through this guide, and on the website it also has a whole lot of other reference tools that you can use as an organisation. So how are we affected by alcohol and other drugs? So Kat's already spoken about the fact that a heavy percentage of construction workers in Christchurch come to work severely hungover or are using drugs. So it is a problem in the workplace, and I think statistics kind of indicate that random drug testing results in about a 20 to 25% fail rate. So what that means is that there's a high percentage of your team impaired on your workplace potentially every day. So Corbel's story, we were kind of in the pre-contemplative stage. We actually didn't really know what we didn't know. We weren't really thinking about an alcohol and other drugs story. And when I joined the team, we had quite a high number of operative staff, and we had, a number of them who regularly wouldn't turn up to work. Thursdays and Mondays were great days for poor attendance with employees. We'd have guys who'd turn up late, go to the wrong place. I had one employee drive all the way out to Little River, so about an hour's drive, get there and go, I don't have my steel cap boots. So he turned around and went home for the day. So nobody wants to work with them. How many of you guys have got staff on your team that Thursday after payday, if payday's Wednesday, they may not be at work? Hands up, anyone? Anyone have guys who turn up and they've forgotten essential pieces of PPE? Guys who are like, I don't actually want him on my site, can you please move him to another site? Or guys who turn up late. We have one guy, he'd go AWOL, no one knew where he was. You'd ring him, where are you? So all of these are kind of signs and symptoms and signals that manifest in your workplace that your employee may or may not have a problem with alcohol or drugs. So we obviously got involved in the Safety Charter. We're involved in the Safety Forum. We got invited to join the industry AOD working group and project team, and our leadership team all agreed that actually alcohol and other drugs was a significant risk to our business, our productivity, the safety of our workers, and actually just the long-term well-being of our staff. Kiwis, we all like to drink. We all like to drink maybe quite a few drinks, some weekends more than others. And we wanted to make sure our commitment to our team is that actually people are safe and that they're well over the long term of their lifetime. And so we eagerly began a journey, but really, to be honest, we didn't really know what to do. We didn't really know where to start. And, it's a tough conversation to have with someone, yeah? When you think, oh, you might have a problem, mate, or I might have a problem, mate. It's a tough conversation to have. So where did we start? Well, we actually, I know this guide says A, B, C, but we actually started at C. Training and education. So we started with raising awareness around why alcohol and other drugs could be a problem and that we needed to potentially do something about it. So thank goodness we're part of the AOD team, and we got Kat Savage, sorry for spelling your name wrong. She came in and did some research in our business. We were part of some of the 279 staff who were researched were ours. And we put our staff through the AOD workshops. And the AOD workshops were basically about understand that there's a problem, understand how to identify a problem. So if you see someone and they're, peaky-eyed or whatever, this is what they could be on, or they could have had a late night last night. If you smell alcohol on their breath, how do you then intervene and actually have a conversation? And we handed out drink check charts. So all of you have these on your table. If you haven't done it, please take it home and do it. I wouldn't say that I was a a heavy drinker, but when I ran through this, I was like, ooh, maybe I am. So it is important that you have a look at this. We put these in our site offices. We had people kind of fill it in and throw it out. You know, the pre-contemplative, oh, that's nice to know, I'm a 45, and when you do this, you'll know what a 45 means. And throw it out and continue. But we also had foremen who'd been trained, and they were like, I need to talk to that person. And an interesting story, after one of the AOD workshops, it was on a Friday, two of our staff came into the office after Friday drinks and were really, you know, talking about the AOD workshop. Wasn't it great? But, you know, they'd had a few beers afterwards to celebrate. So project managers, after the training, they got a little bit confident, and they, you know, noticed that, you know, the guy with the poor attendance, and they noticed the guy that drove out to Rolleston without his boots, and they noticed that, and they went, I'm going to start being brave and talking to my team about their potential alcohol and other drug problem. And it was interesting, the reaction and the ripple effect that kind of went through our business. And this is before we even started talking about a policy with our team. It was just about raising awareness. We had some guys who quit. Oh my gosh, alcohol testing and drug testing's coming. I'm getting out of here and going somewhere where it's not going to be. And we had some people who came to the office and they moved out of the pre-contemplative and they got into contemplative, and they went, I've got a problem, can you help me? So just by doing the training, we had a significant impact on the relationship to alcohol and other drugs in our business. So this one's a bit big, I'm not going to read through it, but this is the piece where you start looking at, all right, now what do we do in terms of the policy in our business? How do we implement something into our business that sends the right tone, sends the right message about our relationship with alcohol and other drugs and what we're going to do to support our team? So, I've never written an AOD policy in my life. I didn't know where to start. So thank goodness, big guys, you all kind of shared part of your commitment to supporting improving drinking and drug-taking behaviour in the construction industry in Canterbury was that you all went, we've got a policy, here it is. So thank you. And I recommend, if you don't have a policy and you don't know where to start, get on Scoot's website. I think they've got theirs up there, and you know, don't reinvent the wheel. Imitation's the best form of flattery, so people have done a lot of hard work. Get on the bandwagon. But you know what, we read all the different policies, and to be honest, I was like, oh my goodness, do we really need all that information in there? Like, some of them are quite a few pages long. Do I really need to know, put in there the levels of if you get tested and you come back and your results are at this level and da-da-da-da-da, and for this drug it's this and this and this. And, you know, you've got to settle on the policy that's right for you. You know, we employ 65 staff in Christchurch and Auckland. So, you know, maybe we can kind of trim it back compared to people who employ thousands of staff all over New Zealand. So we drafted a policy that suited the business, and we really settled on having a policy that reflected Corbel's commitment to best people. And that meant that we were more interested in supporting our employees through any issues that they had versus working our employees out of the business. So planning and consultation. So we kind of, I guess, got into the consultation phase, and I guess consultation began when we started the training and we started raising awareness. We called all of our team in and we consulted with them on the policy. And yes, it was still a bit of a novel. Yes, there were some numbers in it. Yes, there were some big words. So we didn't really expect them to read the fine print, but we did kind of pull out the highlights. And we emphasised our focus on rehabilitation and support. We emphasised to them, this isn't something to be afraid of because we're here to work with you. If you think you've got a problem, we want to support you through getting through the program and going through those stages of change. We didn't really formally consult with our subcontractors. But we did invite them to the AOD workshops, and we did talk to them about alcohol and other drug policies. But in Canterbury right now, most companies are either contemplative or pre-contemplative around, oh, I need to do something about alcohol and other drugs. So testing. This is, where the rubber hits the road. We're going to start actually doing something about this. So depending on what you decide in your policy, there's a whole lot of kind of different options around testing. So we allowed for in our policy the ability to do pre-employment testing, the ability to do random testing and all of that kind of stuff. But practically how we've applied it in our business so far is that we've done something called reasonable cause. What that means is that when we think someone is stoned, impaired, hungover or drunk, we can send them away for testing, and we have done that. And then we've also implemented the post-incident testing. So that means when there's been an incident on our site, whether someone's been hurt or not hurt, so if a near miss that could have killed someone, or an accident where someone hurt their hand or whatever, we've sent the people involved in the accident away for testing as well. No one's refused to test so far. No one's said, no, I'm not going to get tested. And we've had both sides of the coin come back in terms of the results. So we've had negative results, which means they weren't impaired, and we've had non-negative results, which means we need to do further testing, we need to find out the level of their impairment, and we need to start a conversation with these people about how do we manage it. Drugs. Booze. This is probably the bigger and more insidious productivity issue that we have in our business. I think Craig's kind of opening where, yes, drugs are a problem, but booze is the bigger problem. And we have a number of staff that we have referred for drinking counselling. We've got a number of staff on rehabilitation plans and also rehabilitation agreements, which mean you don't turn up to the counselling session, we'll find out about it and we'll have a tough conversation. If you don't turn up on Friday morning, we'll be waiting for you and we'll have a conversation, etc., etc. So it's we're actively kind of managing behaviour, many people's drinking behaviour within our business right now. And monitoring. So how do you kind of monitor and how do you know that what you're doing works and what you're doing? Because it's a massive investment. Well, how do you know it's working or that it's even worthwhile? Well, I guess from Corbel's perspective, we're an employer of choice. We care about our team. Any investment in our team's safety and well-being over the long term is worthwhile. Is it working? Well, there's a level of awareness in our business that people are actually able to have conversations about alcohol and other drugs. And our senior leadership team kind of take having those conversations really seriously. We've kind of reached a level of acceptance that, yes, I might have a problem, and we've gotten into the action stage with some of our team. We're actually helping people deal with their problem. So part of the success of that story is that you have to create an environment where it's safe to raise an issue. Like Kat said, when someone says, I want to take action, awesome! When someone turns up to work on Friday hungover, don't berate them. Don't call them all the names under the sun that we tend to do sometimes in construction. But actually, let's talk to them about it. Let's say, hey, you fell off the wagon. That wasn't a good idea, but let's get you back on. Let us support you through it, because that's when you make change. Alrighty, so if you want some more assistance, the safetycharter.org.nz has a lot of great resources. The worksheets here, there's some great policies out there. Steal them, modify them, and start the conversation within your business. Thank you.